morning and welcome to Realty Coffee Talk on Awaz Entertainment in Canada around the world. My name is Tahir. I'm a fellow of Real Estate Institute of Canada, real estate broker of record for City Pro Realty Inc. Brokerage, and I'm the host of Realty Coffee Talk. Tonight, we're going to talk about buying cottages and waterfront properties. Recently, I visited with a client a tiny Ontario and have the opportunity to explore options of buying property for my clients. So there is a very extensive work that needs to be done in order to help find a property. So most of all, before you buy a property, a cottage, you have to define your needs. It's very, very important when you are thinking of buying a property as a second property, as a cottage or waterfront property. Some people buy it for recreation purposes. They buy the property, they go out and some do use it during the summer, some go and use it in the winter. So there are preparation that needs to be done. The property has to be prepared to make sure it's winterized and protected. So we're going to talk about that before a buyer decide that he or she will want to buy a property. So first question is ask, what is the purpose? Is it something that you go out on once a few months in the summer or winter? So would it be cheaper to just go Airbnb and book a spot and not to worry about the logistic and responsibility to maintaining a property? Because it's very cold weather there, snow could be chest high, and you have to make sure that if you are using 3 season or 4 season, you have to do a lot of preparation. The first question come to your mind is that this property, is it for personal use or is something that you want to invest in it, you use it, and the balance of the year you will put on Airbnb. In, for example, tiny Ontario, there are bylaws. You can have a split units like we have a secondary unit. You have to apply for it to get it approval. Lots of people are buying the properties there and they're doing Airbnb in a certain time. And they also want to make sure that the city don't get complaints from people if there are too many people coming out for property for rental. So if you are buying a property, you want to choose whether you want to have a sandy beach or rocky beach, or you plan to have a scuba diving, or you want to have a boat that you want to float. You need a deeper water, and either you want to have your private access to it. There are private beaches. There are public beaches. There are also recreational activities in the area, and you have to find out which area has what type of. And you'll be surprised to know that unless you are living in the area, you cannot park on the street. You will get a ticket from the city inspector because the parking on the street is no parking allowed. So for example, in Tiny, we found Palm Beach, we have Blue Water Beach, there's Jackson Park there, and there is Le Fontaine Beach, and there's a Woodland Beach. For example, we found these 4 or 5 beaches area, and some have a rocky, some are private, someone has a sand beach. So because you want to have a client, if you want to rent it for that purpose, to make sure you have access to the water. And there are also a lot of trails there, and some people use snowmobile for and also ice skiing in the area, and some people go there for ice fishing. So there are so many things involved with this, and you have to know which area your client can do the ice fishing. There are lots of clubs there. You have to join them, and there are also facilities that we have to use. So most important thing is not every house is the same. you will not find majority of the home will have a basement. If it's a basement area, if it's allowed, there's a lot of work needs to be done to make sure that it doesn't flood it, because in certain area the city doesn't allow, town will not allow basement because it can flood it, and then you have a problem. So most of the cases above ground, majority of them are bungalows, and then you have also custom built home, we are 2-story, and those are private homes. So cost of the houses depends on the lot size, facing the waterfront. That means you have access directly to the waterfront, and also you have walk to the beaches and all the accessible skiing and touring. So this is why it's very, very important to collect the information. And also, if you have to build a property, let's say you want to buy a land and custom build this, you have to apply to the city so they come and search to verify that you will be allowed on certain lots or not, because they fall into a water conservation authority, also conservation authority in terms of knocking down the trees and forestry. They will check. There's lots of protocol that you have to follow, and also they have to verify the utilities underground that's available. Are they available or not? Would they be sufficient? And where they can allow you access from the road to your property if you want a custom build. I saw some subdivision luxury homes, and I was kind of wondering why people will come and cut down the tree in a forestry area and build new homes. The purpose of going to the north away from the city busy life is to have a peace of mind and nature. So when you are building a big home there, and similar to what you have in the city, it defeats the purpose. Even though you will have lots of toys and you have a big family, but idea is to keep the more natural there, so you can blend in with the environment there and not to cause problem environmentally, removing trees or building this. But it's a choice, it's a freedom to buy it, as long as conservation authority and town will allow it, obviously is permitted. But it's a lot of effort, but it can be done. We're going to talk tonight strictly about available houses. So you have to create, before you even buy it, you have to sit down. As a real estate professional, I'm a fellow real estate of Canada. I'm a certified real estate specialist and lots of other designation programs. So I sat with my client, I pinned down the budget, because if she wants or he wants a recreational property, or they want to use as an Airbnb, as an investment and income property, then you have to create a budget, because you have to offset the cost of maintaining the property. So you can buy it. You can buy a property from $550 to all the way millions of dollars. It depends what you want and what is the capacity and size. One thing I have learned there, when we are searching properties through a TREB MLS system, nobody specifies the square footage, exact square footage above grade and the basement. Normally the basement is not included, but it's good to know that if you are areas where you can build the basement, the cost of the basement is different from the above grade. Land value is one, but above grade cost is different, because when you buy a property or you custom build from a builder and ask them to build it for you with a 10-year warranty, they will give you a cost of the foundation wall, basement, and above grade. But they will not finish your basement. So let's assume the cost of building is about $400 above grade. Okay? Now you already got the foundation wall. You already paid someone to put your water connections or plumbing connections and everything, electrical wiring, if you want. If not, that can be done later on. But at least you have a bathroom connection, because there they have a septic tank. So when you think that you're going to use the basement as another way of creating a side entrance or finished basement. You make sure your septic tank has the capacity to accommodate. Most of those decent size 2000 and above will have about 1500 gallon septic tank that you need to use it. Okay, we're going to talk about that. So let's assume, so you have already bought a property that already has the foundation, it may already have the plumbing, and only thing you need to do is finishing. So the finishing of the basement, let's assume, is $50 because the construction cost has gone up now. So you need to know that let's say it's $50. So you have a 1,000 square feet, that will cost you $50,000. But if you're talking about square footage of above grade, that's, let's assume, is $400. So you are paying $350 per square foot more if the realtor dumps these two figures together in MLS. I noticed that majority of the TREB will have that. You will see that on realtor.ca. But if you see ITSO, I am a Mississauga board director and chair of education committee and member of ITSO. We use ITSO MLS system. They have 23 boards together. There is a requirement for total square footage, then separate them above grade and then below grade. So you are able to determine how much that is total. And now you calculate the cost. It all depends which realtor that you use and how you come up with it. This is where the mistakes are made when you are dumping them two together and you are asking a price. That's not fair with the consumer. We have to specify them, and then you can ask for the price. This is very important for you to know that I separated the land value above grade and the basement separately. Then you are able to analyze it, what could be the reasonable price for a property based on comparable that's sold in the area. So let's assume you buy a waterfront property. So if you buy a waterfront property, that means on the back you have a back, you have access to the water. You may have a retaining wall because sometimes the water will rise and it hit the retaining wall. It doesn't damage your house, and most of the houses are on the height side. You also will have access. You may have created a boat room where you walk to the deck and then walk into your room and get on your boat, and you can drove it through the water. Some using our mechanical platform where you can have your boat there and you can bring it down and take it up, wrench it up, and same thing is water equipment, other skudoos, people are using it. So then you are responsible to make sure that you're not throwing any waste into the water, and you are in compliance to the city bylaws and coastal. And also there are restrictions because when you are facing the water, there are requirements from the water authority, conservation authority, that control that because there is a flood zone. So you have to check from each city bylaw how much is the flood zone. Some will have a 20 meter that you cannot from the water or center point where you cannot do anything. So this is when you are building something. If it's already built there, then you want to get from certificate from the city to make sure that water compliance is done. And then you also have a septic tank. Septic tank has to do with the capacity of the room and usage. If you are going to rent it, you have to look and see how often do you rent it. This is why it's very important, because you're going to winterize it, and if you're not going to rent it, you're going to winterize it and you leave. Normally people who use the property for themselves, they don't rent it, they use it for their personal use. So they winterize it in end of October or before the snow falls, and they pull out the boat from above the water and also winterize, shut down all the plumbing, drain out all the water, and make sure everything is locked and secure. Some will have a security system, but majority of them are now using Airbnb to create revenue to pay for the property. So this is one property, and those are expensive. You may run into $1 million and up to a couple of $1 million. Now, depending on someone have a shallow beaches area where you have from your backyard you can walk to the water, but some will have a high area where is a island kind of situation where the water is deep and you have a deck that is custom built for you and you are walking into the water and jumping it. There's the deep water safety issues are also concerned. There are always posting there from the town wherever you are going, whether you are looking for a sandy beach to walk, or you skidoo you have, or you are using a snowmobile. There are lots of trails there. It all depends. Now, if you are you're buying a waterfront property, you will also have to look at the water moisture to make sure your windows, doors are highly insulated, because you will have that issue, condensation issue, because water is going to hit, and you make sure that your property is well prepared and protected, and you are heating system. Now there, depending on the location where you buy the property, it could be electric heater, you could have a gas, or you have a you know the gas that you bring, a propane gas, and some are oil. So it all depends what type of unit house you have and which one you are buying it. You need to calculate the cost of each one, how much it costs to maintain a property on a monthly basis, over and above your mortgage cost. This is why I created a budget sheet for my clients. So I always discuss with them each property that we review. We put the budget and see how much you're going to carry, and some are 3 seasons, some are 4 seasons. So if you don't have a basement, and you will have, is called crawling space. So if the house is not insulated, you will not be able to use in the winter, for if you want to use as an Airbnb, to rent it out through the Airbnb. You need to use a mineral wool at least 4 inches below the basement floor, to make sure, through the crawling space, to make sure is there, and may also include some kind of heating mechanism that it heats up the floor. Otherwise you won't be, because the snowfall there is a chest high, and that means up to here. So city, a good thing about it is the city has been cleaning the roads. They have the access road, everything is clean. Only thing, your property line to the house is the one that you have to do if you're going to do as an Airbnb. So now this is about the waterfront property. So you have to check many things as a part of the inspection. It's not a regular inspection. There's a lot of due diligence needs to be done. And you can call me 905-785-9923 or 416-451-3489. I can help you to buy a cottage or waterfront property. Now, when we talk about not waterfront property or cottages, terms cottages that you want to go there, enjoy it. During the weekend, you want to stay away from the busy life, and you go away and you drive down. In summer, you use it. In winter, you can put on Airbnb and make money. So those, if they are not waterfront property, if they are on the side road, which is above and away from the waterfront property, then cost will be less. The value of the property is less. Therefore, you will be able to depend on what size you want a house. You want to accommodate a member of 5 family, or a member of 6 family, or 7 member of family. If you are doing Airbnb and too many people are coming and it's annoying for people that do a lot of parties, then you're bound to hear a complaint from the neighbor. They will call the city inspector, say there's too much noise here and they're disturbing it. So you don't want to create that environment where people are not welcoming, because they say the city guys come here, they do a lot of parties, but they want to make sure it's not noisy, and you are educating your Airbnb guest to make sure they're not making noise. So you buy the property. Again, rule is, again, you have to know what your property is. If you're going to use it seasonally and then you lock it up, you have to winterize it. Or why don't you make money and you buy the property depending on each size, square footage, above grade, and also land sizes and size of the house, and then facilities. Some has a garages, some don't have a garages. So it all depends. Majority of them will not have a garage. That means if you park the car outside and somehow you fall the snow, you're going to have a 4 or 5 feet of snow. So this is why it's very important to find out if you want to build a garage for your guest who are going to be parking the car there, and you will be held responsible to make sure you clean the snow to the city line to make sure that your client, customer can come and go during the people if you want to rent it. Now there are lots of parks. There are beaches there, and I learned that unless you own a property in a specific area, you will not be able to walk to the private beach, because some areas there is no public beach. You have to go to the private beach, and you must own a property in order for you to access those beaches. So this is very important. Now people think from the city, oh, I can go to the beach, any beach. No. There are public beaches, there are private beaches. And it depends where you go. It all depends on the region that you go to. And each one is different. So this is why, and some beaches, you need walking, you need a permit. There are trails. You will need a permit to go there. You have to pay the conservation authority to get the permit in order for you to do the snowmobiling or doing country skiing. You can do that. There are trails there. I think one of the area that I learned from the visiting tiny town is there's a 23 kilometer long, 22, 23 kilometer long Trans-Canada trail that you can ski all the way 23 kilometers. So this is amazing, but it depends what you want to do. So this is why it's very, very important for us to find out what you're really looking for and what you need. And this is very important for you to figure it out. Now there are properties, again, you want sizes, septic tank. So you need to find out how much it costs you to get a propane tank there if there is no gas. Yes, the most important thing is the internet. This is another issue. I think the Bell Canada is bringing an optic there, but right now sometimes it's a good internet, sometimes it's not a good internet. And I was driving in the area and I lost the signal. I'm using a Rogers phone. So there was an area in a provincial park where there are so many trails that you can go there. And we walk on the property. It was a really wonderful environment, feel good, close to the nature, and very nice, and it was beautiful. So you have to think about it, why you want the property, what type of property you want, how much you want to invest, and how much you can recover through the Airbnb. Remember that when you are doing Airbnb, we have to follow Canada Healthline, Ontario Healthline guidelines. So each time you rent it, somebody leaves it, you have to clean the house. So you have to consider the cost. So when you create a budget, we call it income and expense report, you want to find out how much total cost income is and how much your cost is, so you know a net operating income before you consider about the mortgage and carrying charges and property taxes. What are your costs? That you make sure that it's a profitable business and cap rate is good for the property. So this is why it's very important to talk to someone who is very qualified, who understands that, and make sure you don't get carried away. You calculate the value of the property and make sure you work with that. Problem will happen is when you are not educating your client, buyer client, and he or she get excited and put an offer on the property which is high. And right now, because of shortage of housing, and there are multiple offers, but it's not as big as what's happening in the city. So you take your time, work around, make sure you have a good side property, conveniently located. It has a gas in there. Septic tank, in every property you're going to have a septic tank. So there's no if and but about it. You have to make sure when you're buying the property, you have inserted the environmental clauses, or you can hire someone to do the inspection for the septic tank and capacity of it. Based on number of visitors they will be using this property, you have to consider the cost, how much it's going to cost you to clean that septic tank and maintain it. Because in winter it gets frozen. So you have to wash that, everything as you're winterizing it. So now you have the gas expenses, you have water is a city water, you have to shut down the water unless you have insulated the pipes. The waters are coming because they're coming very deep, more than 6 feet deep coming into your house. So make sure when they enter your house, you have provided insulation to the water pipes so they don't burst, otherwise they will damage your house and flood the basement or crawling space. That is why winterization is very important, and lots of people who don't have winterization or no insulation in the basement or crawling space, they are closing down their cottages or waterfront properties. They are all cottages. That's the term we always use because it's a temporary residence. You are going in on occasionally either in summer or you're going in winter. You can adjust your activities depending on your preferences, and then you can also Airbnb. Just for your information, mostly if you want to go to Airbnb, you want to rent a cottage, waterfront or a cottage away from this, you can get a cheaper cottage for rental if you are a little bit away from the beach or a beach, so you can drive there. It will cost you less. So cost of those will be cheaper than those that are closing or walking distance. Let's say 3 to 5 minute distance to the beach are more expensive because people will like it. They will have equipment. They want to take it with them. Or there are arenas where you can go and rent the boats and do many things there. So this is why it's very important that you want a deep water, the beach area, waterfront, or you want a regular sandy beach or small rocky and sandy beach where you can go and sit down and spend time there with kids, and kids can play as well. And those are the choices you have to make. So it's very important to have an educated buyer so they understand when you are buying a cottage for personal use, and this cottage could be on the waterfront properties depending on how much money you want to invest. So definitely you have to remember one thing: when you are putting an Airbnb and you have an income property, you have to pay taxes and report income on to CRA on your tax return, depending whether it is a private property as individually bought or is it a corporation. You have to declare that income on your tax return, T1 or T2. So we're going to you're watching Realty Coffee Talk, a buying cottage or waterfront property on Awaz Entertainment in Canada around the world. We're going to take a short break and we'll come back and we continue our conversation, and also I give you market update for sale, what happened in September. Thank you. Bye for now.
पूरे ऑन्टेरियो में लाखों लोग अपनी कोविड-19 की वैक्सीन हासिल कर चुके हैं। हेल्थ कनाडा की मंजूरशुदा तमाम वैक्सीन महफूज और अस्पतालों, डॉक्टर्स के दफातर, फार्मेसीज और अवामी वैक्सीनेशन के मुकामात पर हासिल हैं। अपना किरदार अदा करें, अपनी वैक्सीन हासिल करें। 300 जुबानों में मदद के लिए ontario.ca/book वैक्सीन पर जाएं या 1-888-999-6488 पर कॉल करें।
का लाजवाब ऑफर, जहां हम 0% फाइनेंसिंग पर आपकी मनपसंद कार दे रहे हैं, फ्री विंटर टायर्स, और साथ ही हम मुफ्त ऑयल चेंज भी दे रहे हैं, वो भी उम्र भर के लिए। अभी आएं और इस लाजवाब ऑफर का लुत्फ लें। जल्दी करें, आपका खुशामदीद हमारे आउटलेट में, जो कि 60 क्वींस प्लेट ड्राइव at intersection close to Highway 27 and Rexdale opposite to Woodbine Racetrack। जल्द से जल्द इस ऑफर का लुत्फ लें। आज ही कॉल करें सुनील अग्रवाल को 647-703-0218। देखिए खेल की आवाज हर पीर शाम 7 बजे। आज की बात समीना जबीन के साथ हर मंगल रात 8 बजे। इस्लाम इन मॉडर्न टाइम हर मंगल और जुमा शाम 6 बजे। कनेडियन मोज़ेक हर बुध रात 8 बजे। रियलिटी कॉफी टॉक हर जुमेरात शाम 7 बजे। टुनाइट टॉक हर जुमा शाम 7 बजे। देखिए तकरार, कीजिए तकरार समीना जबीन के साथ हर रोज रात 9 बजे और रिपीट सुबह 9 बजे। आप देख रहे हैं आवाज एंटरटेनमेंट, आवाज आपकी, चैनल हमारा। जुड़िए हमसे। आपकी रिहाइश ऐसी हो जहां जिंदगी की सहूलत मयसर हो, जो आपको बुलंदियों पर ले जाए, तो मिलिए रियल एस्टेट मार्केट के एक्सपीरियंस्ड रियल एस्टेट प्रोफेशनल अमित ओबेरॉय से। GTA में रियल एस्टेट मार्केट के हर अंदाज से वाकिफ। आपको घर खरीदना हो, बेचना हो या करना हो मुनाफे का इन्वेस्टमेंट, मेरे तजुर्बे से आज ही फायदा उठाएं। आज ही कॉल करें अमित ओबेरॉय 647-291-8102। अमित ओबेरॉय, ब्यूटीफुल होम्स यू कैन अफोर्ड।
Good evening and welcome to Realty Coffee Talk on Awaz Entertainment. My name is Tahir Qureshi. I'm your host. We're talking about buying cottages and waterfront properties. So there are a couple of things there. The good thing is that when you are buying a property in the north on the beaches, there are some restrictions and then you have to follow the guidelines of the city. You will find a lot of portable washroom and garbage receptacles to make sure that you are able to use the portable washrooms, and also you don't throw your garbage in there. And there are parking area. There are some restrictions that you might want. You will have to look at every city that you want a property. You ask your realtor to find out more details, and there is a permit parking. That means if you are going there and park it, you need a permit. Also, parking, pay and display your parking ticket on your car, and you may have a certain access to the property. You may need a permit. Washroom facilities are always available depending on which beach you are going, and this is very important for you to know. Portable washroom, garbage recycling, playgrounds are there. Picnic tables are there, and boat launch, boardwalk, and covered shelter, a restaurant and convenience store. These are available there because city promote businesses, and they are very strict. The municipal law enforcement officer and Ontario Provincial Police (OPP) are monitoring. The traffic safety is big issue. You make sure you don't cross the limit, the speed limit, because there is all residential area, and they want you to watch that. And they want you to follow the Ontario health guidelines and remember the protocol for the health, COVID. So they have you go to any respective town where you want to visit or buy a property. There is a building assessment committee. There are municipal land access permit requirement. You want to buy a property, you're buying it or existing one, to make sure in compliance. People always encroach, they violate building codes, so you make sure that you verify it. But the parks and trails, you will require a permit. Public beaches versus they are accessible, available. Bids and tender rental facility, you have to find out where the rentals are. There are multiple motels or big buildings where you can have a multiple family, but you have to check that each one, either you're buying it or renting it. A road and park construction is constantly going. I saw a lot of construction going on. And water testing is done by the provincial park. So if you have any question regarding cottage or buying a cottage or waterfront property, you can call me at 416-451-3489 or my office 905-785-9923. I'd be more than happy to help you. Buying is a very complex and technical, to make sure that you are making a right decision. Because if you buy a property and if you don't follow through the maintenance of the property, you will lose the money. You can damage the property because of winterization. So there's a lot of improvement needs to be done. You need to make sure insulation is done. Majority of them, I recommend you have a steel roof, because snow can melt sooner. And you have a heated roof, you can do that. And again, it all depends what you want to do. A lot of checking needs to be done, and you have to be very patient and work with your realtors. If you need any services, you want to buy it, more than happy to help you. My number is 905-785-9923, or my cell number is 416-451-3489. Now we're going to talk about September properties and statistic. I got the latest Market Watch September issue by Toronto Regional Real Estate Board. So let's talk about September 2021. We have a 9,046 transaction and 11,033 transaction in 2020. So our sale is 18% less than last September. So you can see that less sale. Now average price on TREB deals with 905 and 416 area. So this is, I'm talking about 416 and 905 area. Our average price jump from last September 2020 was 960,613, and this September it went to 1,136,280. That is an average jump of 18.3% from last September to this September. Remember, I have mentioned on various programs, an employee buying a property, how much he or she will get. Let's assume an average a family has $200,000 income. You will qualify, if you're a first-time buyer, maybe $950,000 more buy. If you have equity more than 20% down payment, then you may qualify for 1.2, 1.3, because stress test is still 5.25 right now until it's changed. So you can match the appreciation value of the property until the government take action to increase or improve the process of approving. They need to digitize the process to expedite it and enforce the construction companies to build more homes, affordable homes. The current government has a lot of plan to invest money. We're hoping that moment our new member of parliament take the oath, they go to work, because we still have a shortage of houses. Average house, 13, 14, 15 offers are going on, and it's very difficult for someone to buy a first-time home buyer, because you have a CMHC approval process and you can't take risk. You have to have some condition for a couple of days, even though you're pre-approved. So you can see that the new listing is in 2021 is 13,483, and in last year in September it was 20,441, so minus 34.5%. New listing, 34% less. So what are you going to do? You have a shortage. You need somehow the government of three levels, federal, provincial, and municipal government, have to work together to solve this problem. It's a really supply issue. There is a high demand and supply is the issue. Then you look at the active listing is minus 49.4% from last September to this September. Last September we have 18,167 in COVID, and now we have 9,191, almost half, 49.4%. And average price I mentioned to you is 18.3%. And listing day on the market, it used to be 16 days in September last year, and now it's 14 days, 12.5%, so it's going faster. Similarly, property day on the market, it used to be 22, is now 19, is 13.6. So they are moving faster than they were coming to the marketplace. So now I'm going to give you just a very quick view of year-to-date price variation. I'm going to talk to you detached home. 416 area is 1.778928 per average detached home, and 905 is 1.451471. So I'm going to make it sure 1.78 or 1.45 million for a detached home. It doesn't talk about single detached home, double garage, or whatever. It's just average. And then you have to ask your realtor to give you a specific evaluation for a property that you are buying, and then you are able to assess that. Semi-detached, $1.3 million in 416 area, and 991 in the 905 area. 905 is Mississauga. You have Milton. You also have Brampton. So you have to remember this all area, west and east. Townhome, 416 is $930,056, and average price in townhome in 905 is $902 and $902,853. So condo apartment in 416 is $744,730 and $634,111 in 905 area. So selling prices have gone up. Now let's look at the detached home. Is 416 increase 19.5%, and 905 area for detached home increase 31.4%. Year-over-year percentage change. And SAMI 13.9 in 416 and 25.2% in 905 area. Townhome increased 7.2% in 416 and 26% change in 905 area. Condo again 8.5% increase in 416 and 18% in 905 area. So mortgage rate are still high. The prime rate is 2.4%. Banks are still giving prices for lower than 2% for 5-year fix. Variable is very attractive, up to 1.4%. But you have to check with your mortgage broker. I am a principal broker of Canada Express Mortgage Inc. and our license is 13241. And you can reach out to me. I can check it out for you to make sure you have getting the right price. So you have a real GDP growth was minus 1.2% in second quarter of 2021, and Toronto employment growth unemployment is 9.1%, and Toronto unemployment is 9.3%. So it's going up and also minus. Inflation is 4.1%, is going up right now. So you are watching Realty Coffee Talk on Awaz Entertainment. If you are a builder, renovator, real estate broker, real estate agent, mortgage broker, or financier, or plumber, electrical, lawyer, inspector, or anyone who's connected with renovation, a home builder, this is the best place to advertise, because Realty Coffee Talk, if you are a subscriber of Awaz Entertainment and Realty Coffee Talk, you can get a very special discount from our Managing Director, Samina Jabin. Our phone number is 416-786-9809, or you can email to info@awazent.com, and you get a very special discount from advertising 10 times a day for 30 days, and you can't beat that. Our access to Awaz Entertainment is through satellite cable. You can watch it anywhere around the globe, and you will be able to benefit from it and its cost is very minimum and very reasonable. So you're watching Realty Coffee Talk on Awaz Entertainment in Canada, around the world. So I look forward to see you on next Thursday at 7 p.m. I take this opportunity to thank everyone who is helping COVID environment. Please be careful. Do not wear masks. Keep the social distance. Make sure you got your COVID vaccine. And we thank all the health professionals, doctors, nurses, medical staff, armed forces, and our national security staff, and who are protecting our fellow citizens. May God bless you all. May God bless Canada. Thank you. Bye for now. See you next Thursday at 7 p.m. on Awaz Entertainment.